Take a look at all of these machines. That's where it all starts, and over there is where it all ends. And in the meantime... Alright, so checking the last equipment actually that I'm going to use for my recordings today, because I'm here at Chateau Montrecoeur. That chateau is owned by Thierry Gauthier, and you might not have heard about Thierry Gauthier because in the region here in France, in the Dordogne, he is very famous because of this chateau, but also because of TPL Systems. Now, I have been at TPL Systems before. That was about 2 years ago. There was a CMA meeting here which I have attended. But today there's a special reason. With all of the changes in the world nowadays, Thierry thought about, how can I secure manufacturing here in France? So what he did is he invested 3.1 million euros into his facility in Sarlat. Sarlat is about 20 minutes drive from here. This chateau is actually a fantastic location to relax and unwind. He also invested in the chateau because last time when I was here, the restaurant was not that upgraded as it was today. There's a new building, new facility. Everything, by the way, is well maintained. It's a fantastic location. So if you're here in the neighborhood, I really advise you to book a room here in this chateau because the chateau is magnificent. So let's go to the car and make this 20-minute scenic route and then talk with David, the director of the company, about all of these changes within the company. Now, let me see where my wife is because I have to say goodbye to her. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Let's go to TPL Systems. Start the engines. Oh, let's close the door of my car. Heading to Sarlat. And that's what I said, just about 20 minutes. So nowadays, when you're in the critical communications industry, it's extremely important that when you manufacture products, you are able to manufacture them in a secure way. The 3.1 million euro investment of Thierry Gauthier, I can imagine that fully because you're completely in control of the complete process. And on the other side, manufactured in France, you have these saying like manufactured in Switzerland, for example, or in Germany. That's quality products. The same counts here for France. And I do know that quality is very high of the products because the dedication of Thierry, the way he also treats his castle, is the way he treats his business at TPL Systems, and that's taking care of the people, taking care of the work process. And it's very simple because some people are working there already for 20 years or even more, and you might know José Costa and David Villecastin, two gentlemen that you have seen at exhibitions and trade shows all around the world. They worked for this company many years. So I'm really privileged to be at the office of TPL Systems here in the Dordogne. Have to go this direction, I know, from the past. So, this is TPL Systems, and the waiting is for David Villecastin and José Costa, who are guiding me around here at this place, but at the moment they're not yet there. I've seen them, but I had to wait for a few moments. It's nice seats, and with a little bit of wine and French cheese, can spend some time over here. Alright, that is actually the entrance of TPL Systems at the main entrance. These are two other buildings that they own, and that is also the building, that is the left one, where the new machines are installed. So let's go inside. In the meantime, the pump mast has gone up and the satellite dish has gone up and the blue lights are on, so it's time to go inside. David Villiers and Jose Costa. If you don't know them, you know them right now because they have been with the company for many, many years. What was the reason from Thierry, who is the owner of the company, to invest such amount of money? And there must be a trade-off, something. There must be a benefit for that.
So thank you, Gert, to be there with us, and we would like to show us your production line, your new production line that they have started in March this year, to give more flexibility at TPL to produce the product. Because, you know, in the past we will use subcontractor in France or in Europe or in Asia. Now we focus all our production line in Sarlat, in our headquarter. We secure all the production and also buying the component, because now it's a big challenge to buy the component, and the subcontractor currently they don't buy the component. So we can buy the component and to manage everything for production line.
So with the investment you eliminate a lot of risk actually. You can do everything yourself, everything in-house, from development, from the drawing table up to the production, to the end stage, right, of the product. Yeah. That's with all products, or is that only for a certain range of products?
For the moment we have started with EDR range and some other product like Sirena controller for P25 market in US market or French market, and step by step we will integrate all the products that we have in our catalog. The goals, it's to keep all production in TPL for the next 5 years.
Okay, so that's interesting, but when I'm thinking about production, Jose, you need to have also a personnel that is, you know, has the knowledge to use those kind of equipment. How does that work? Is that easy?
Well, in fact, there's a lot of challenges when you go in this kind of adventure. One of the biggest challenges is to find the correct person to make, to run properly a production line, not only for the machines, but also for the process, like David say, of buying the correct components and sourcing everything to have the capability to produce when we need it, when our customers need it as well. So that's why we have, for this, we have hired 2 different persons specialized in running production line pick and place and soldering machines, and as well as 6 operators to manage these machines daily and to be sure that our production line will never suffer any delay regarding what our customers are expecting of.
Shall we have a look?
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look.
With a pleasure.
So yes, and that facility is just over there. This is still the old building actually. There's a little corridor over here, and that takes me to the new facility over there with all of the machines. So please join me and you know, just take a look. You know, this is, as I said, pretty mind-blowing. Take a look at all of these machines. That's where it all starts, and over there is where it all ends. And in the meantime, it's going from printing board, well, actually to select actually the prints over there, all the way to that location. So there's lots of stuff. Let me explain to you exactly what happens here. So this is where it starts actually with the reels, and on the reels are the components based. Now the components here on these reels are extremely small and they need to be put on the printing board. So here we are selecting the reels. They're stored in a kind of refrigerator, but it's against humidity, of course, because they need to be very dry at a certain temperature. That is extremely important. It's all automatically here being done. And when you put the reel back, it's being placed on the same place where it came from. That's very important, so you don't have any misunderstanding that you're ending up with the wrong components on the board. So here is the pasting being done on the board. So the printing board needs to have paste first in order for the components to stick on the board. So take a look. It's being done over here. And from there we're going to the next stage. On this screen you can see if the paste is on the right position on the board. If not, well, things start to get a little bit difficult then, right? So the next stage is to make sure that the small components are being placed on the board. and that's being done over here. And the small components are the very tiny components that you're not even able to see with your own eye. So from the printing of the small components, you go to the printing of the large components. And the machines are not yet even on the highest capacity. That machine over there, what I just showed you, actually has a capacity of 80,000 components per hour. Well, you cannot see it right now, but you can see how many components is being placed at the moment. This one has a lower capacity, goes a little bit slower. So the investment of Thierry is actually a good choice, I would say. This lady is checking if the component is really being placed on the right location. That's very important. You see that it's on the board, it says good, or NG is probably not good. And she has the ability to manually pick the component and place it at the right place. So this is a very long machine over here. That machine is being used actually to make sure that the components are being stuck on the board. You can see that's been done in different processes, different temperatures. So it starts with a low temperature, although it says 103 degrees. Then it goes to the second stage of 143 degrees, 153, 168, and finally it ends up at the end over there with 255 degrees. That's extremely hot, but then it needs to be cooled down, of course. So the next stage is cooling down over there, stacking up over here. And you can see that from this side. And then from stacking up those components or those boards, we'll go to the next stage. The next stage is actually that there are components who are a little bit bigger that need to be put on the boards and through the boards. So when you see these pins at the bottom of the board, that's being done over here. This lady's putting those components on the board and then it needs to be soldered. We call this wave soldering actually, and there's a reason for that. I will show you that later. But first the board's got to be preheated. You can see here the temperature is 117, 129 degrees in the different sections. And then the soldering is being done over here. There's a nice camera. Camera over there shows you exactly how the soldering is being done. There's not for nothing that this is called wave soldering. There's a wave actually over the solder wave being put on top, or actually at the bottom of the board. There is a little button at the bottom which shows you the UV light, and the UV light shows you exactly where the layer is not well put on the board or where it's being put on the board in a perfect place. Now this is actually how the board looks like. This board, there is a special layer on top of everything. And there's a reason for that. There's a very good reason for that, because if you're a manufacturer selling your products, for example, in Saudi Arabia or in other places where there's a harsh environment like dust and rain and so on, then you must be sure that the components are rightly fitted on the board and that your product is working all the time. Now, therefore, they put a layer of, I don't want to say it's plastic, they put a layer on top of this. So there's an extra protection actually on the board to make sure that everything functions as it has been designed. This is the microcontroller on the board, and Sebastian here is checking if the microcontroller is well soldered. There's only one way to find that out, and that is through X-ray, because you cannot go look through the microcontroller. You need to have something that looks through the microcontroller. That's been done in the X-ray, And here you can see exactly, you can zoom in as well on if it's really well soldered, yes or no. And Sebastian is right now zooming in. Any mistakes so far?
No problem.
No problem. The cleaning room. Here you can see that things are being cleaned, and what is being cleaned is that you can see over here. And that is exactly the size of the board that's being used earlier today. Great how manufacturing is being done for the EDMR line of TPL Systems. Basically that's it. That's the brain of EDMR.